Hello, welcome to this week's How's the Market, Pensacola. Well, it's the week before Thanksgiving, as where I'm already seeing a bunch of Thanksgiving and Christmas stuff all up over the place, and I'm not judging anybody because my Christmas tree's already up. We had a busy week coming up this week and next week, and my wife and I just decided to put it up a little early. And I've listened to some Christmas music now. I know that people are like, no, don't do that until after Thanksgiving. Yeah, well, I've done it. Get over it. Anyways, I did want to bring up something real quick before we started looking at the show. Because I'm seeing it here in the area, and then I just saw in the Wall Street Journal and in the Florida Realtors, actually did I think it was the Orlando Sentinel or it was the Sun-Times down in South Florida saying there's a huge pickup at it. We've seen it around here too, and it's rental scams. There, especially on Craigslist, some other websites, pay attention to what you're trying to rent out. If you have a vacant house, whether it be for sale or for rent, pay attention to what pops up on Craigslist. We saw a rash of this happen during the foreclosure pandemic. We would have a vacant property that I would have listed, and all of a sudden it would show up on Craigslist. All utilities paid $600 a month. Now all you have to do is wire the $1,200, and they can never talk to you because they happen to be overseas, deployed, or it's a scam. And we're seeing a huge rise in that due to the pandemic right now. So be very, very careful. If you're selling something, pay attention, make sure it doesn't pop up on that, because the only thing that I have done as I've seen some of my client stuff pop up on that is I will take the same picture that the scammer's using and then put scam real big across it and make my own Craigslist post so that people understand, hey, this thing's not for rent. But pay attention to that. So there's a little bit of news for you. Just pay attention to it. And unfortunately, people are ramping up devious ways to try and steal people's money. I hate that, but hey, here we are. It's 2020. All right, let's take a look at this numbers for these two counties for this week. Let's go. All right, if you haven't ever seen this show, I always start off with this slide. It says if we have between 6 and 7 months worth of inventory, we have a neutral market. Anything greater than 7 months is considered a buyer's market. Anything less than 6 months is considered a seller's market. What the slide does not say, anything greater than 9 months is considered a hyper buyer's market. Anything greater or less than 3 months is considered a hyper seller's market. That impacts drastically how sellers can price things and what buyers need to be looking at when they start negotiations, because each price point is different, and so negotiations change via your price point. So pay attention to those price points as we jump into these two counties this week. We're going to start off in Escambia County. And just like last week, everything under $550,000 is considered a hyper seller's market. I have seen a little bit of uptick of inventory between 100 and 250. That makes me happy, but we're not even at a month yet. So it's still very, very low inventory there. And some of these properties are not in the best of shape. We've got, and everything else is a seller's market. It's almost everything in Escambia County is under 4 months inventory. So the 550 and above is 3.1. So under our definition, it's not a hyper sellers, but it's definitely a sellers. So if you ask me this week, how's the market, Shane? Is it a buyers, a sellers, a neutral? I would tell you right now it is a sellers or a hyper sellers in Escambia County. Period. There are no neutrals. There are no buyers markets. Let's take a look at Santa Rosa County, and it's even worse. Everything under $700,000 is a hyper sellers market. Again, that 100 to 250 scares me because there's less than a month's inventory. We did have one property pop up on the 50,000 range. I think that's a lot. But everything under 700,000 is still considered a hyper sellers market. The luxury, the ultra luxury, it went from 3.1 to 3.2. So I don't know that that's much of a change. Anyways, in Santa Rosa County, we're pretty much all a hyper seller's market. So sellers can push a little bit, and buyers need to understand that. Like when I sit here and look at the 100 to 150,000 mark, right next to this red, it shows the list to sale ratio, and that particular price point is selling between 99 and 100%. So is the 150 to 200. So is the 200 to 250. The 250 to 300 says it's selling at 100 and 100%. So when you come in on that brand new property that's listed, it's actually worth that, and you want to offer them 20% under, no. And there's something else that you got to pay attention to, because people have asked me, I've got some folks that I'm seeing this week, they're like, how long has this property been on the market? Well, it's a little confusing when the MLS shows 42 days in the market. But if you look down at the details, it was under contract for 31 days. So it's really been on the market 11 days because nobody was looking at it when it was under contract. Now, what happened to the contract? I don't know. Buyer's financing could have fell out. Something could have found in the inspection. There's some questions that need to be asked there. But there are times when, we don't see 41, 42, 43 days. It's actually 11. So make sure you talk with someone. And if you're looking in our area, just give me a shout. I'll let you know what you're looking at there. But everything's selling between 98, 99, 100%. You get down here to 650, and sometimes you can get 95%. But yeah, it's all selling for pretty much what they're asking. It is a seller's and a hyper seller's market right now. Will any of that change after the first of the year? I don't know. We normally see a slowdown between Thanksgiving and Christmas. People don't want to show their property during the holidays. As a seller, I always tell people that's actually a really good time because only serious buyers are out there doing that right now. The other big thing you want to pay attention to right now is homestead. If you can get a property under contract in the next week to 2 weeks, and you can close by the end of the year, then you can homestead the property for next year. But you have to own the property December 31st or closing December 31st, either way. All right, I think December 31st is a weekend this year. So you got to own it basically at 11:59 p.m. on December 31st. So as it clicks over to New Year, when we all say Happy New Year and get rid of 2020, if you own the property and it's your home, you can homestead it for that year. And there are huge benefits to homesteading a property in the state of Florida, not just lower taxes. There's much, much more benefits to that. So I always recommend you do it. Anyways, interest rates are low. Inventory is low. If you're looking at doing anything in the next 6-12 months, give me a call because, it's as a seller, we definitely need to get some more inventory out there. I've been complaining about that for a year and a half now. We've got to get some more inventory out there. But I really appreciate you watching. Have a great week. I'm a man on a mission. My mission is to help people break through all the noise out there and don't need no permission. I want to help you get to actual truth. Don't you just want the truth?